On Christmas morning, when everything seemed perfect, my sister suddenly slammed the door after I gave her a thoughtful present, one of the most heartbreaking and true stories. It was Christmas morning, and the house felt alive with lights, music, and the faint smell of cookies baking in the oven. Everything seemed perfect, until it wasn't. I had spent weeks planning the perfect gift for my sister. Something meaningful. Something that reminded her of the times we laughed together when we were kids, before life's struggles and misunderstandings drove a wedge between us. I thought it might finally bridge the silence that had grown between us over the past few years. I knocked softly on her bedroom door, holding the carefully wrapped present. I could hear her music playing faintly in the background, her little escape from the world. "Hey, I got something for you," I said, my voice trembling with a mix of hope and nervousness. The door opened. Her expression froze. And then, she slammed it in my face. Not softly. Not angrily. Just slammed. I stood there, stunned, the gift still clutched in my hands. A wave of disbelief and hurt crashed over me. For a moment I thought I had done something wrong, something unforgivable. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't just leave it there, so I knocked again. No answer. Just silence. Hours later, I found her in the kitchen, quietly staring out the window. I approached cautiously. "Why did you?" I began, but she interrupted. "I'm sorry," she said, voice barely above a whisper. "It's not about the gift. It's everything else." She explained how she had been feeling overwhelmed, not just with the holidays, but with life in general. She had been carrying anxiety, stress from school and work, and feelings of inadequacy for months. The gift wasn't the problem. It was the trigger that brought all those feelings rushing back. I listened, not interrupting, just letting her speak. The room was quiet except for the soft ticking of the clock. And slowly, I realized something important. It wasn't about the gift. It was about being there, showing her that I cared even when she felt like pushing everyone away. We spent the rest of the day talking. Really talking. About our childhood, our arguments, our fears, and the moments we had missed sharing. By the evening, she smiled at me for the first time all day. Not a fake smile. Not a polite smile. A real one, the one that reminded me of the little girl I grew up with. That Christmas morning, a slammed door could have been the end. But instead, it became the beginning of something we had both been longing for: connection, understanding, and the fragile, beautiful start of healing. And the gift? It wasn't just an object anymore. It was a symbol. A symbol that even in moments of anger or pain, love can find its way through. After she slammed the door, I didn't know what to do. I just stood in the hallway, holding the gift in my hands. The lights on the Christmas tree flickered softly behind me, but their glow couldn't reach the cold pit of hurt that had suddenly opened inside me. Hours passed. I tried leaving the gift on her desk, hoping she would notice later. I tried texting her. Nothing. Silence. Eventually, I went back to my room, curling up on my bed and staring at the ceiling. Memories of our childhood flooded back. The Christmases we used to fight over trivial things, the times we laughed until our stomachs hurt, the moments when I promised I would always be there for her. And then I realized, maybe the door slam wasn't just about anger. Maybe it was about fear. Fear she had been carrying alone for months. Later that evening, I heard soft footsteps outside my door. My sister peeked in, her eyes red but cautious. I didn't mean to slam it like that," she said. Her voice trembled. "It's not about the gift. I feel like everything is falling apart, and I don't know how to handle it." I nodded slowly, motioning for her to sit beside me. "You don't have to explain everything right now," I said. "Just tell me what you can." She took a shaky breath and began to open up. About stress from school, pressure at work, anxiety she had hidden for months. About feeling invisible, even around family. About the fear that she wasn't living up to expectations, her own and everyone else's. And then she looked at me, voice cracking. I didn't want anyone to see me like this. Especially not you. I reached out and took her hand. You don't have to hide anymore, I said. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. We spent the rest of the night talking. Really talking. About the past, about our fights, about the things we never said but always felt. She confessed regrets, I confessed mine. We laughed at small memories, cried at the ones that hurt too much, and slowly, a wall that had grown over years began to crumble. By the time midnight came, the air in the room felt lighter. The Christmas tree lights reflected in her eyes, and for the first time in months, she smiled at me, truly, sincerely. The gift I had brought her wasn't just a physical object anymore. It had become a bridge, a symbol that even in moments of anger or distance, the love between siblings could survive. The next morning, we discovered something surprising. While cleaning up the living room, she found an old box tucked behind the couch, a box neither of us had seen in years. Inside were letters, photographs, and keepsakes from our childhood. One envelope was addressed to both of us, in our late mother's handwriting. We hadn't seen it since we were kids. With trembling hands, we opened it together. To my dear children, if you are reading this, it means you've grown stronger than I ever imagined. Life will not always be easy, and people will leave you at times. But the love you share for each other will always guide you back to the right path. The words hit us like a wave. Tears flowed freely, not just for our mother, but for the years of misunderstandings, missed opportunities, and hidden pain. For the first time, we realized that the gift of honesty, vulnerability, and presence could heal wounds that time alone never could. That Christmas didn't magically erase our struggles. But it marked a turning point. We learned that sometimes, people lash out not because they hate you, but because they are overwhelmed, scared, or lonely. The door slam, the tears, the confessions, they were all part of the process. By the end of the holiday, we made a silent promise to be there for each other, no matter what. To communicate, to forgive, and to hold on to the connection that mattered more than anything else. And while life would continue to bring challenges, that Christmas morning taught us a lesson we would never forget. Sometimes, the hardest moments, like a slammed door or a broken heart, are exactly what open the way to something deeper, stronger, and more meaningful. A few days after that Christmas morning, life seemed calmer, but there was a tension in the air that neither of us could explain. My sister and I had started talking more, sharing small moments, laughing again, but something felt unresolved. It all started when she found an old journal hidden under her bed. Pages were yellowed, the handwriting delicate and familiar. She flipped through it silently, her face changing with every line she read. "What is it?" I asked, noticing the shadow over her expression. She shook her head. "It's from Mom. I think she left this for me, but I never opened it." I sat beside her as she carefully read the first page aloud. "Dear children, if you find this, it means life has taken its usual turns. You will face moments when you feel alone. You will feel misunderstood. But remember this, sometimes the people we love most carry secrets to protect us. Not because they want to hurt us, but because they hope to shield us from the pain they cannot face themselves." Her voice trembled as she read. I felt a lump in my throat. "Your father has his own burdens. He made mistakes, yes, but he loved you even in absence. And my children, you must learn to face truth, forgive, and carry love even when the past feels heavy. One day, you will understand why I had to step away. And one day, you will forgive, not just him, but yourselves for holding on to anger." When she finished reading, tears streamed down her face. She turned to me, voice barely a whisper. "I think there's more. Things we didn't know. Things Mom wanted us to see only when we were ready." That night, something shifted. My sister's expression was distant, almost haunted. I asked her again about the journal. "It mentions Dad, yes, but also someone else? Someone dangerous. Someone who tried to hurt us when we were kids. Mom kept it secret to protect us. And Dad was forced to make a choice I didn't understand until now." My stomach sank. Questions spun in my head. Who? I asked cautiously. My uncle, she whispered. Mom said he wasn't safe. Dad kept us away from him, but Mom documented everything, just in case we ever needed the truth. A chill ran through me. Memories from childhood flashed, things I had forgotten, odd warnings, times when we were told not to go near him. The reality hit hard. Our safe childhood was more fragile than we ever knew. And now, after all these years, the past had returned, not fully, but enough to remind us that life sometimes hides dangers behind familiar faces. The next day, we decided to call our father. We didn't want confrontation, but we needed answers. When he answered, I could hear the exhaustion in his voice. "I know you found the journal," he said softly. I was waiting for the right moment to tell you everything." We listened as he explained the threats from our uncle, the reason he left, the impossible choices he had to make. He spoke about fear, love, regret, and protection, the burdens he had carried silently for years. By the time he finished, my sister and I were both crying. Not just for the dangers we had avoided, but for the years of silence, misunderstanding, and fear we had shared. And yet, there was relief. There was understanding. There was a fragile thread of connection we hadn't realized we still held. The days that followed were quiet but powerful. We began rebuilding the bond with our father, sharing small dinners, walks, and stories. My sister and I promised each other something. No more walls. No more silence. No more holding back because of fear. We began journaling together, writing letters we didn't plan to send, expressing truths that had been buried for years. And though life would continue to challenge us, work pressures, stress, family tensions, we learned something essential. Even the hardest moments, the slammed doors, the hidden secrets, and the fears we carry, these are not the end. They are the beginning of understanding, of connection, and of love that survives the storms of life. That Christmas, what began with a slammed door ended with a new kind of gift, the gift of honesty, the gift of vulnerability, and the gift of family, imperfect, fragile, but real. It was a week after we discovered Mom's journal. Life felt cautiously normal, until the call came. A deep, unfamiliar voice on the other end. Calm. Calculated. "I hear you've been asking questions," it said. My sister froze. "Who is this?" "I'm someone your father tried to protect you from," the voice continued. "And now, it's time to face me." My heart pounded. Memories flashed, odd warnings from childhood, moments we didn't understand at the time. My father's long silence suddenly made sense. "We need to tell Dad," I said, shaking. We called him immediately. He answered, his voice tense. "I feared this day would come," he admitted. "Your uncle, he has never stopped watching. I did everything I could to keep you safe. But now, he knows you've learned the truth." We arranged to meet him in a public place, a park near the edge of town. We weren't sure if it was safe, but staying silent wasn't an option. When we arrived, he was there, standing in the shadows. His presence was overwhelming, the air around him tense. My sister gripped my hand tightly. "You think you can just confront me?" he sneered. "After all these years?" Dad stepped forward, weak but firm. "I did what I had to do to protect them. You stay away, now." Our uncle's expression flickered, surprise, anger, maybe even fear. "You can't stop the past," he spat. "Secrets don't last forever." My sister's voice trembled but was steady. "We aren't children anymore. We know the truth. And we're not afraid." For a tense moment, the world felt like it had frozen. The past, our fears, and all the unspoken truths hung in the air. Then something unexpected happened. He backed away. Slowly. Silently. The realization hit him that we were no longer powerless children. We had grown. We were united. Walking away from that confrontation, my sister and I didn't speak at first. The weight of years, fear, secrets, pain, finally lifted a little. Dad took our hands. "I know I can't erase the past. But I can be here now. And we can face everything together, from now on. Tears ran down my sister's face. I never thought I'd feel safe again. Safety isn't about never being in danger, Dad said. It's about knowing you have people who will face it with you. For the first time, we laughed, not out of relief alone, but because we realized we were stronger than any fear the past could throw at us. That Christmas became more than just a holiday. It became a turning point. We learned that families aren't perfect. That love isn't always obvious. That mistakes, secrets, and fear can leave scars, but they don't have to define the future. From that day on, we made a pact, to be honest, to communicate, and to stand together, no matter what shadows might return. It was Christmas Eve again, exactly 1 year after the slammed door incident. The house smelled of cinnamon, pine, and fresh snow from outside. But this time, the air felt lighter. Safer. The past year had been a storm: confessions, tears, confrontations, and revelations. We had faced the truth about our father, uncovered the secrets our mother had left for us, and even confronted the shadow of our uncle. And now, sitting together in the living room, my sister, Dad, and I finally felt whole again. Dad held the same fragile smile he always did when he was nervous. I never thought I'd see this moment, he whispered, eyes glistening. My sister handed him the carefully wrapped gift I had bought for her a year ago, the same one that had started all of this. It's for you, she said softly. For everything you tried to do for us, even when we didn't understand. Dad opened it slowly. Inside was a small photo album, one that contained pictures from every Christmas we had spent together, including the ones he had missed. Each page held notes, memories, and letters he had written but never given us. He looked at us, tears streaming down his face. I can't believe you kept this. I thought I had lost so much time with you both. My sister hugged him tightly. Time isn't lost if we make the most of it now, she said. And in that moment, the years of pain, the slammed doors, and the secrets of the past melted away. We were laughing, crying, and holding each other, realizing that what had once been broken was finally healing. Then, my sister whispered something I hadn't expected. Remember the journal? Mom wanted us to learn how to forgive, even when it's hard. I nodded, understanding now. Forgiveness wasn't just about our father. It was about ourselves too, for the anger we carried, for the walls we built, and for the fear that almost stole us from each other. Outside, snow began to fall gently. The world looked quiet, peaceful, perfect for a new beginning. That Christmas, nothing magical appeared suddenly. No miracles. No dramatic explosions of happiness. But something far more valuable happened. We learned that love, patience, and courage could mend even the deepest wounds. That family isn't perfect, but it's worth fighting for. And that a slammed door, or a hidden secret, can sometimes lead to the greatest gifts of all: understanding, connection, and hope. As we sat together, the three of us, I realized this would be a Christmas we would never forget. Not because of gifts, or traditions, or snow, but because we had finally opened the doors to each other's hearts. And for the first time in years, everything felt truly home. The Christmas night wasn't over. As we sat by the fire, the warmth spreading through the room, my sister reached under the tree and pulled out a small envelope we hadn't noticed before. It's addressed to all of us, she said, curiosity mixing with hesitation. Dad took it, his hands trembling slightly. He recognized the handwriting immediately, our mother's. If you are reading this, it means you've begun to understand something important. Life will test you, separate you, and even frighten you. But the love between you will always be your anchor. Forgive when you can, hold on to each other, and remember, the hardest moments are often the ones that teach the most. We read it together, aloud, our voices overlapping, breaking, and then finding strength. Every word reminded us of what we had survived, and what we were still capable of achieving as a family. My sister wiped her tears and said softly, she wanted us to know that even the darkest times could lead us here, to this moment. I looked at Dad, who smiled weakly, yet there was pride in his eyes. I thought I had ruined everything," he whispered. "But seeing you both here, I finally believe I didn't." The rest of the night was quiet but full of connection. We didn't need words for every feeling. Some of it was laughter, some of it was silence. We drank hot chocolate, shared memories, and told stories that had been locked away for years. It wasn't dramatic. There were no sudden miracles or cinematic revelations. But each small moment, the touch of a hand, a shared smile, a laugh after years of silence, felt monumental. We realized healing doesn't always arrive in grand gestures. Sometimes it arrives quietly, in moments of patience, honesty, and willingness to be present for someone else. Before heading to bed, Dad pulled out an old photo of the three of us from a Christmas long ago. "I lost so many of these moments," he said softly. "I can't get them back. But maybe we can make new ones. Starting tonight." We nodded. For the first time, I felt like the past wasn't a chain anymore. It was a guide, a reminder of how fragile life can be, but also how resilient love is. My sister hugged us both, and I realized the slammed door, the hidden letters, the secrets we uncovered, every challenge had led us here. And the most important gift wasn't under the tree. It wasn't wrapped in paper. It was each other. And though life would continue to challenge us, the slammed doors, the hidden letters, and the fears of the past had finally taught us a powerful lesson. Love is not the absence of conflict, but the courage to face it together. As we finally settled down to sleep, I lay awake for a moment, staring at the glow of the Christmas lights. I thought about the year we had just endured, the fear, the confessions, the confrontations with the past. And I made a silent promise. No more letting anger, fear, or secrets keep us apart. No more slammed doors, literal or metaphorical. From now on, we face everything together. The house was quiet. The snow continued to fall outside. And somewhere in that silence, I realized that this Christmas wasn't just about gifts, or lights, or tradition. It was about a family learning to truly see each other again. And for the first time in years, I felt a deep, unshakable sense of peace. A few days after Christmas, my sister and I found another envelope tucked in an old drawer. Unlike the others, this one was unmarked, no handwriting we recognized. "Do you think it's from Mom?" she asked hesitantly. "I don't know," I admitted. "But we need to read it." Inside there were several pages, typed neatly, each filled with reflections, apologies, and guidance. As we read, we realized this wasn't just a letter. It was a map for how to live, how to face mistakes, and how to hold on to family even when the world feels cold. Life will throw shadows across your path. But remember, shadows only exist because there is light. Seek that light in each other. When anger rises, choose understanding. When fear grips you, choose courage. When sorrow threatens to pull you apart, choose love. And always, always speak the words that need to be spoken before it's too late. We sat silently for a long time after reading it. My sister leaned her head against my shoulder, and I realized that this simple act, finding guidance from the past, had given us clarity and strength we didn't know we needed. Weeks later, life presented a challenge we hadn't expected. My father received a letter from our uncle, the same man who had caused fear years ago. He had been trying to reconnect, but his intentions were unclear. We debated. Should we ignore it? Confront him? Report him? The decision wasn't easy. My sister looked at me, eyes wide but resolute. "We have to face this together," she said. We did. Not recklessly, but carefully, with our father by our side. The meeting was tense. Every word, every gesture was measured. The uncle tried to manipulate, to provoke fear, but for the first time, we didn't crumble. We stood together, firm and united. My father, once weak with guilt, now looked strong in our presence. My sister and I felt the truth of our mother's words: courage, honesty, and unity could overcome even the shadows of the past. By the end of the meeting, our uncle left, frustrated, unable to shake the bond we had forged. And in that moment, we realized something profound. We weren't children anymore. We were a family. And we had survived the past together. A year after that first slammed door, we celebrated Christmas in a way we never had before. No hidden resentments, no fear, no silence. Just presence. Just love. We laughed more than we cried, shared stories, and even decorated the house with new traditions. My sister and I bought small, thoughtful gifts for each other, not to impress, but to show care and attention. Dad looked at us, smiling through tears. "I never thought we could reach this," he said softly. We all knew it had been hard, harder than any gift or tradition could ever capture. But we also knew something crucial: love, patience, and courage had brought us here. And that was far more valuable than anything under the tree. That night, as we sat by the fire, the snow falling gently outside, I realized something I'd carry forever. Family isn't perfect, but it's worth every fight, every tear, and every moment of fear, because love can heal even the deepest wounds.